Good evening. This is Left, Right and Centre and I'm Maria Shakil. For the first time in the history of Indian Parliament, 92 MPs from various opposition parties have been suspended. The Speaker of the Lok Sabha and Chairman of the Rajya Sabha say they were displaying placards and shouting slogans. The MPs were demanding a statement from the government over the massive security breach of Parliament on December 13th. Is suspending MPs for demanding answers from the government right? That's the question we ask on Left, Right and Centre. But first up, the story.
Please take your seats.
आप सब सदन का सहयोग करेंगे.
A very disturbing day for us.
सदन की गरिमा सर्वोपरि है.
Please take your seats. I would appeal to the honourable members.
Dozens of opposition MPs, nearly 100 of them, including both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha members, suspended for staging protests over the security breach in Parliament last week. Among those suspended, senior leaders like the Samajwadi Party's Ram Gopal Yadav and the Congress's leader in the Lok Sabha, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary.
तानाशाही की चरम शिखर पर पहुंच गई है सरकार. सरकार को अगर कहना है सरकार सदन में आके बात करते जी. सदन की हिम्मत नहीं है सरकार की सदन में आके बात करने के लिए.
We are weaponizing.
The confrontation started as opposition MPs stormed the well of the House with placards in their hands. This after the government refused to give in to their demand for the Home Minister's statement on the security breach.
ऐसी तानाशाही नहीं चलेगी, ना देश को कबूल है.
Honourable Leader of the House.
The government appears unwilling to relent, saying there is no scope for discussion on national security on the floor of the House.
उनके बार-बार अनुरोध पर विपक्ष के नेताओं तक ने उनकी बात नहीं सुनी. वेल में आए, बार-बार अनुरोध किया गया, माननीय सदस्यों को अपील करी गई कि वो अपने सीट पर बैठ के बोले.
The government is likely to continue with the passage of key bills like the telecom bill and the new criminal bills. This without most of the opposition in the House. With Himanshu Shekhar and Vedant Agrawal, Bureau Report, NDTV.
Himanshu Shekhar was covering the proceedings of Parliament for NDTV today. Let me go straight to him. Himanshu, how are the opposition MPs planning to take this issue up tomorrow? Himanshu, if you can hear me. Okay, we'll try and connect with Himanshu in just a bit, but let me bring in Professor Saugata Roy. Okay, Himanshu. Okay, Professor Saugata Roy, suspended TMC MP is joining me now. Professor Roy, really appreciate your time. You're a senior parliamentarian. When was the last time you remember such a high number of MPs being suspended, sir? And what really happened in the House today?
No, I do not remember in recent memory that such a huge suspension of MPs has happened. It may have happened in 89, which is 30 years before. Since then, BJP during the UPA regime washed out a whole session of Parliament. Still, nobody was suspended. So this is unprecedented that in one day, 46 Lok Sabha members and 46 Rajya Sabha members were suspended. It seems that the government has no respect for democracy, wants to give no space to the opposition. They want to pass whatever legislative business they have by throttling the voice of the opposition. This is indeed unprecedented, condemnable in every sense of the term.
Professor Roy, yes, 1989 was the last time when over 60 MPs, 63 to be specific, were suspended by the Rajiv Gandhi government. Could the opposition have been a little more patient? Because, this is an issue of national security that we are looking at. And the Lok Sabha Speaker's office has said that the buck stops with him. The Secretariat is looking into it. There is a committee which has been set up as well. Could you have waited a little more for the report to be submitted? Because that would not have been really wrong. A little more patience, perhaps.
No, they were not prepared to discuss at all. On the first day, we wanted action against the BJP MP Pratap Simha, who had issued the visitors passes. That needed no discussion. Then we wanted Amit Shah, Home Minister, to make a statement. The government refused. Amit Shah did not come to Parliament. Then he wanted a discussion on the matter in Parliament. That also the government did not agree. So what avenue was open to the opposition to really raise these demands? So naturally we raised a din in the House so that the government would listen. They did not listen and they responded by taking the drastic and draconian step to suspend so many MPs.
But the Speaker says that it's the unruly conduct of the MPs. That's the reason why suspension is happening. I'm referring to the letter that he wrote to all the MPs over the weekend, and that this issue is not really linked to the breach of Parliament on 13th. He understands your concerns, but this is also about what is being seen as MPs not following the protocol.
No, that is the Speaker's view, because he is trying to guard the Home Minister. He doesn't want the Home Minister to make a statement. They are obviously connected. If the Speaker does not force the Home Minister to come and make a statement, the opposition naturally will raise the issue vociferously, and that's why they raised it. So there is no question of patience. Inquiries can take their own time. But we wanted this matter, which happened on the 13th, to be settled, to be talked about in Parliament, which the Speaker did not allow.
Okay.
Speaker, of course, might have been also trying to protect his own secretariat. It's a massive security lapse. In a new building which was tom-tom touted as the government's great achievement, it was found that the massive building had massive leaks in security. So naturally the opposition would raise it, and they raised it. Government responded by taking this draconian,
All right.
anti-democratic step.
Himanshu is back with us. Himanshu, how is the opposition planning to take this up tomorrow? Because 4 more days for this session to end.
Well, the opposition parties have now said that they will take the battle to the streets, to the People's Court. I have actually interviewed large number of MPs who were suspended today, and they said that we have been denied from 13th December onwards, the day the Parliament security breach took place. We have been repeatedly insisting that the Home Minister should come and assure the House in terms of why it happened, what had happened, and what the government is now planning to do. But even the Home Minister is not even willing to make even a brief statement while he is speaking outside to television channels. So opposition parties are saying that we will take this matter to the People's Court now. We will start protests on the street because that is the only option that is left for us. On the other side, the Treasury benches are insisting that large number of important legislation was pending and opposition was deliberately trying to stall any kind of functioning, any kind of meaningful debate. But the end result, Maria, is that if you suspend 78 MPs in one day and 92, I was just counting, 92 MPs have been suspended since 13th December when the Parliament security breach happened. And if you want to take up sensitive, important legislations like amending the Criminal Laws Bill or the Telecommunications Bill, without the presence of these 92 opposition MPs, it would be difficult to have a meaningful dialogue either in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. Maria.
All right. Thank you so much, Himanshu. Let me begin my guests. Dr. Nasir Hussain is suspended Congress MP. We have Shazia Ilmi, spokesperson of the BJP. Smita Prakash, editor of ANI. And Ashutosh is political analyst. Shazia Ilmi, 92 MPs suspended. When did asking questions to the government actually mean suspension?
Well, clearly they were not just asking questions. It was the manner in which they were conducting themselves, which comes in the ambit of unruly behavior. Now, despite various pleas by the Speaker and the Chairman of the House and repeated requests to them, by the Treasury benches and members of the Treasury benches. They refused to pipe down their demand for immediate explanation from the Home Minister himself. And despite assurances that it will happen sooner than later, as a well-planned, well-orchestrated, well-rehearsed strategy to ensure that the
Shazia,
House
just 4
does
days
not,
for this session to end.
does not go smoothly, and to give that impression, first to deliberately render themselves to behavior which would call for suspension, by actually willfully doing that, and then assuming.
Dr. Nasir Hussain, you know, the reaction from the BJP and the government is obvious that you have called it upon yourself.
I think it was a pre-rehearsed strategy of the opposition to use this opportunity or ploy.
So you have used it as an opportunity to ensure that you are suspended. Dr. Nasir Hussain.
Give them
Dr. Nasir Hussain now. Yes.
Go ahead. Normally.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
I think the government is very clear. They have decided that they have a brute majority. They have decided that they don't want any meaningful discussion and debate in the parliament. For them to turn down the requests or the demands from the opposition for any kind of accountability or for any kind of answers for the questions that have raised in parliament, they think they have to be put down very harshly. These voices should be muzzled. These voices should be crushed. They have made up their mind. This is not the first time this is happening. Maybe the number is too big now. What we have seen in the past 4-5 sessions is to brutally silence the voices of dissent. So what were we asking? This BJP spokesperson was mentioning that it was an unruly behavior. What is unruly behavior? Shouting slogans in unruly behavior. Asking for a statement from the Home Minister is unruly behavior. Asking for a statement from the Prime Minister on what has actually happened in the Parliament is unruly behavior. This Parliament is supposed to give protection, supposed to give security to the entire country. This government is supposed to give security to the entire country. If more than 700 elected representatives of the people doesn't have security for themselves, if people can jump from the balconies with whatever kind of bombs they had drawn, it could be smoke bomb, it could be something else. So much hype was created about this building. Hundreds and hundreds of crores were used for the construction of this building. Prime Minister himself, we were told by the media that Prime Minister himself was supervising
Smita Prakash and Ashutosh now. Smita, I remember what late Mr. Arun Jaitley used to famously say. I'm coming back to you, Nasir Hussain. That the onus of the smooth functioning of the House was on the Treasury benches. What appears right now is that there has been no effort at running the House. The easy path is suspension, because what's evident is complete breakdown of communication between the Treasury benches and the opposition. It is the last full session before the 17th Lok Sabha comes to an end. So suspend MPs, ensure the passage of bills.
Look, Maria, I don't know whether he used to say that. He said it once regarding in Parliament about that it is the responsibility of the Treasury benches. Of course, it is. But you interviewed Mr. Shogatore, in which he says that, they've been saying this repeatedly today, that it is what they were doing was protesting vociferously. If I'm not mistaken, that's the term Mr. Roy just used. Now, the thing is that getting into the well of the House with placards is not vociferous protest. It is breaking the rules which till now were not enforced. Right? But what is happening is that till now what was happening, which we've all seen, is that there was a mild reprimand, or there was a rap in the knuckles of sort, in the sense, and that I mean just figuratively, not literally. That's all that happened. But now what is happening is that now those rules are going to be enforced. And it is really unsettling that parliamentary functioning is going to be suspended or parliamentary functioning is going to be disrupted because rules are going to be enforced. The thing is that you saw this happening, Maria. You saw this coming. Anybody who saw what is happening in Parliament, this has gone on for years on end. Continuous disruptions, jumping on tables, suspension of entire work days, entire sessions watched out day after day. And, you know, while they say that we are lawmakers, we are responsible people, we are not students, we are not anybody, we are out here because it is our duty to bring across the problems of our country. That's not what you're seeing. You know, if you were to see this coming months, it is quite clear that the BJP, when you asked this about, you know, and we are talking about the new parliamentary building, the BJP has decided, I think, I'm not sure, but I'm just surmising that it's not just a bricks and mortar building. There are new ways and new norms, or else existing new rules and norms are going to be put into effect, which is that making it's civil debate, a forgotten era of, you know, where you had discussions in a civil manner is going to be brought back, and unruly parliamentary proceedings which had become the norm will be a thing of the fact. Now, I'm in no manner condoning the suspension of what has happened. I'm just trying to figure out why were the speaker and the chairman, why were they suspending people time and again? It is that these draconian steps are just being taken to send out a message that the functioning of the House in this new building will not be similar to what happened in the earlier building. Which
new
is
building,
that now
new discipline,
you're
new
going
message.
to be taken back willy-nilly to an earlier era.
Okay. Ashutosh, new building, new message, new discipline is something that's coming from a message that is coming. One may disagree, agree to it, but the fact is that whatever said and done, it's the taxpayers' money which is being wasted.
See, this is hiding behind the rules to kill the spirit of the democracy, as simple as I could say that. Everybody is very fond of quoting Arun Jaitley. Arun Jaitley not once but many times has said on September 7, 2012, not allowing parliament to function is a form of democracy like any other form. They asked us to hold a debate either under this. Then on 30th January 2011, he has given an interview to ANI, and look what he has said. Parliament job is to conduct discussion, but many a time the parliament is used to ignore issues, and in such situation, obstruction of parliament is in the favor of democracy. Now the BJP is trying to tell to all the member of parliament that look, if you are trying to obstruct the parliament, then you are going to be suspended, not for a day, but for the entire session. This is writing a new parliamentary history in Indian democracy. And this is sad, and this is, I will use the word dangerous. This is dangerous for a simple reason. Because how dare you ask a question? And look at what is happening. The Home Minister, when the parliament is running, Home Minister is not coming to the parliament to make a statement. At least you come make a statement that government is looking into the matter and will take it to the logical conclusion. This statement would have satisfied the opposition, and if then opposition would have obstructed, then had every right government to take any action they wanted. But what is happening? The Home Minister has all the time in the world to go to the TV channel when the parliament is running, and he is making a statement out there. At least I had never seen something like this earlier. Is government going by rule, or government is going by the spirit of the democracy?
Dr. Maji is a suspended JMM MP. She's also joining us. Dr. Maji, give us a sense क्या हुआ आज और क्या फ्लो लीडर्स की मीटिंग हुई थी, कोशिश की गई, आप लोग जो डिसरप्ट कर रहे थे वो नहीं कर सकते थे, कुछ ऐसी बातचीत हुई थी, उसके बाद ये एक्शन हुआ?
देखिए, सुबह में तो जैसे अपोजिशन लीडर्स की मीटिंग होती है वो मीटिंग हुई थी। आज हाउस स्टार्ट होने के पहले ऐसी कोई मीटिंग तो हुई नहीं थी जितना मैं जानती हूँ। और बाद में ये डिमांड किया गया कि होम मिनिस्टर आके अपनी बात रखें, लेकिन आपको पता होगा कि 13 तारीख की घटना है। 13 तारीख को जिस तरह से संसद में हमला हुआ, ये बात और है कि वो स्टूडेंट निकले, वो फ्रस्ट्रेशन से उन्होंने किया, वो कोई आतंकवादी नहीं थे, उन्होंने नौकरी नहीं मिलने की वजह से ये एक ऊपर तक बात पहुंचाने के लिए किया, वो अलग बात है। लेकिन बड़ा हादसा हो सकता था, सुरक्षा में चूक हुई। हमारे देश के सबसे प्रोटेक्टेड जो इलाका है, जो सदन है, उसके अंदर अगर इस तरह का हमला हो सकता है तो 140 करोड़ जनता के मन में यही सवाल है कि आप इस पूरे देश की रक्षा कैसे करेंगे, कैसा दावा कर सकते हैं। पूरी दुनिया देख रही है कि भारत के संसद में इस तरह से एक सुरक्षा चूक हुई। बस इतना पूछना था, क्योंकि शुरू में तो वॉकआउट करके इसको बहुत शांतिपूर्ण तरीके से करने की कोशिश की गई थी। जब ये हमला हुआ था 13 तारीख को, तो उसके बाद फ्राइडे को, मुझे याद है फ्राइडे को हम लोगों ने बहुत शांतिपूर्ण तरीके से वहाँ पे वॉकआउट किया। 2 बार अंदर आए, बाहर गए, लेकिन फिर भी जवाब नहीं दिया गया। जब इतने दिनों के बाद 13 तारीख के बाद 18 तारीख तक कोई जवाब नहीं आया, बाहर मीडिया में जवाब दिया जा रहा है, सदन के अंदर, जबकि विपक्ष का काम ही है जनता की आवाज बनना, जनता के लिए सवाल पूछना, जबकि आप अगर सुषमा स्वराज जी की बात मान लें तो सुषमा स्वराज जी ने,
you know, you have been saying, the BJP says, the government says that the opposition should be patient. 5 days is enough display of patience for them, because if it is about walkouts, they have done that. It's only when the government continued its position of not responding that they, had to resort to what played out today.
See, it's very simple. First of all, the Home Minister did go to a channel and said that there has been a serious lapse of security. The Prime Minister reiterated it later. And the fact of the matter is that Amit Shah did say that, yes, an inquiry is in place. No stone will be left unturned to figure out as to what has happened and what transpired, which led to such a major security breach. There were many more BJP MPs present there, so the threat to all the parliamentarians was clear and tangible, as we all saw. Now to insist, and the same thing happened in the last session too, the insistence on was Prime Minister must speak, even though it was the domain of the Home Minister Amit Shah ji to speak on Manipur, keeping in mind the jurisdiction. But then the insistence was, no, this will not do. Today, so many members of the government, even the ministers and treasury benches tried to intervene and make sense and request the opposition MPs to sit down and to have a conversation. But there was one stubborn, insistence that Amit Shah must give the answer.
Okay, Dr. Nasir Hussain, will you respond to this?
This is an agenda.
What is this stubborn insistence?
I want to just finish saying what I'm saying.
Okay.
And so it's like, do it or we will misbehave. Do it now, as we say it, even when they know very well that Amit Shah ji, knowing him, will come back with all the facts on all the details of what has led to this breach. But no, there was just a prefabricated, pre-researched, pre-orchestrated script in place.
Okay.
And with all the
so this is
an
an opposition which is latching on to any issue they can, try to corner the government on. Is the charge coming from the BJP? Dr. Nasir Hussain.
Maria, I didn't understand what is unruly behavior, what is misbehavior. Shouting slogans is misbehavior. Asking for a statement is misbehavior.
Yes,
giving notices under the relevant rules of both the houses is misbehavior.
Constantly shouting.
Madam, please hold on.
Constantly shouting. Today Jagdish Thankar requested Mallikarjun to meet him in the chambers. He was refused.
You have the patience to listen to others. That is what BJP is doing in both the houses.
Shazia, he was patiently listening to you. All this discussion, debate should be left inside the parliament. In NDTV and LRC, we are very civilized. Let's hold a civilized debate. Please go ahead.
Maria, so giving notices under relevant rules of both the houses, asking for a discussion is misbehavior. Asking the chairman to allow the leader of opposition to make his point in the house is misbehavior. Asking for justice is misbehavior. So you tell me the track record of this government. What did the Prime Minister come and speak on the violence that was happening in Manipur? Did he speak on Adani issue? Did he speak on the Chinese incursion issue when the opposition was wanting to have a discussion? You tell me one issue on which the government came up with a statement.
Exactly my point.
One issue in which the Prime Minister or the Home Minister came up with a statement. What were we asking? We were asking only for a small statement from the Home Minister who is responsible for the security of this country. If the 700 plus MPs are not safe, what do you think the country can be safe? BJP MP who brought them into the house, who brought them in his car into the house, those two guys had come earlier and did two times they did the recce as to how to get into the house. So that MP is not suspended. There is no inquiry against that MP. But
How
the
do you
MPs
know
who
there is
are
no
asking
inquiry?
for justice, protection
How do
and
you know there
statement
is no
are being
inquiry
suspended.
against him? Sir, how do you know there is no inquiry against him? How do
Where-
you
who
know
else-
that
who-
the Andolan GV protesters
That is exactly what we are asking. That is exactly what we are asking. Let the government come out.
Can I answer you?
Let the
You've gone
government come
on and
out
on
with
about
let the
Okay.
government come
Can I
out with the
answer you?
statement.
You don't
that
have
there
to
is an inquiry
outshout
happening.
each other because
Nobody
if
knows
you
that
do
there is
that,
an inquiry
none of
happening.
you are clear,
Just because
and
it is
you know it
BJP
doesn't really
MP,
help the viewers.
No, just
You know, because
because
if you're
he is a
trying to make a
BJP
point,
MP,
can I come
let's
being
have a very,
protected.
very calm debate. Calm.
No, just because he is a
Yes.
BJP
So
MP
very
is being
calmly,
protected.
very calmly.
Okay.
Mahua Moitra, there is no evidence for cash. There is no evidence for cash for question. Then she is being
See, so you
disqualified
have
from the
completed
parliament.
everything.
Okay, let
Who
me
knows-
bring in
Can I
Smita
come-
Prakash and Ashutosh
Who
now.
knows there was
Smita Prakash and
there could
Ashutosh,
have been
please now.
cash for
Yes,
entry into the
Smita,
parliament.
you know, new parliament,
There
new
could have been
rules,
cash
yes.
taken for entry into
But,
the parliament.
you know, when we look at this entire jurisdiction debate which is happening, you know, I've been speaking to experts. They are of the opinion that this is the domain, as the Lok Sabha Speaker has been saying, it is the domain of the Lok Sabha Secretariat. But then there is a larger question of the safety security as well. And because the breach has happened inside Parliament and also outside Parliament, so that, that distinction of domain also is an open question. Do you think raising questions in this way should lead to a punishment of this nature? Isn't suspension too harsh?
Punishment of who? Punishment is a good question because Maria, you and I as journalists, we can keep discussing this. Experts can come on the panel, and do you know who pays the price? The journalists pay the price. Do you remember 2611? Who actually lost their job? One editor of a newspaper lost his job. Nothing else happened. Nobody, no heads rolled. The NSA continued. The Home Minister continued. And it went, you know, way after that when a normal reshuffle happened, then somebody got changed. But nothing happens. The only people to pay the price are journalists. This suspension means nothing. You know, yes, I agree with you that security breach was not a comfortable situation. We have lost a cameraman in the earlier attack in Parliament. So I know exactly what it means for a security situation like this to happen. The other thing which I want to point out, Maria, is, you know, this bringing up of Arun Jaitley. All day long in all TV channels, it was like Arun Jaitley of the BJP has said something more than a decade ago. And just because Mr. Jaitley said something doesn't make it a procedure for non-BJP parties to follow. Since when has Mr. Jaitley become an icon of the non-BJP parties? He's not even an icon for some of the BJP people. So I don't understand how he's become. If you remember, Mr. Advani had said after the demolition of the Babri Masjid, that is the saddest day of his life. He called it a black day. Did the BJP or will the BJP or anybody even in the opposition today call the inauguration of the Ayodhya temple that day, which is going to happen in January? Will anybody call it a saddest day? Will anybody call it a black day? Not even Mr. Owaisi will say that. You know, so bringing back something which was said 15 years ago and making it a norm today, it's not going to work. The fact is that these laws exist in Parliament. It was just like Mahua Moitra saying that password to sabko dete the, sab log sabko de rahe the. The point is, when there is a law, you have to follow it. So if you don't follow it, somebody or the other is going to get into trouble. And that's what has happened right now. It is not a happy situation. There needs to be opposition in Parliament and debate needs to happen in Parliament. And hopefully we will go to an era where civil debates will happen and where we will be, if we are reporting from Parliament, it will be an interesting and exhilarating experience to listen to lawmakers discuss and debate our laws.
Yes, and that's what the Parliament is meant for. Dr. Mahua Maji, I'm coming to you, Nasir Hussain. Dr. Mahua Maji.
Just give me a minute.
Yes.
Say, forget about Arun Jaitley. What did the late Sushma Swaraj say? What were her statement? on the disruptions in parliament? What are the number of statements of other senior leaders of BJP? Similar statements have been given by more than dozen BJP parliamentarians and senior leaders. There can't be one rule for BJP when they are in opposition and one rule for them when they are in government.
Agreed. Agreed.
There are modes of protest in our parliamentary democracy. Our democracy for the past 75 years accepted certain forms of protest, and reasonable and civilized debate doesn't mean only agreeing to the government agenda. Opposition should have the floor in the parliament, and opposition has the right to raise the issues
so
that concern
so
the
now
people
that
of
the opposition, 92 MPs, now that 92 MPs, including Nasir Hussain and Mahua Maji, are out of the parliament. This is the end of the 17th Lok Sabha in many ways, because this is the last full session. Next one would be, vote on account. महुआ माजी, फिर आप लोग आप राज्यसभा में हैं, अभी आपका टेन्योर बचा हुआ है, लेकिन फिर क्या इशू रहेगा? मेरा मतलब है कि अगर ऑपोजिशन हाउस के बाहर रहेगी तो फिर आप अपने कंसर्न्स कैसे, जो आप बोल रही हैं कि आप जनता के कंसर्न्स उठाती हैं, वो कैसे उठाएंगे?
सत्ता पक्ष तो यही चाहती है, सत्ता पक्ष यही चाहती है कि ऑपोजिशन बाहर रहे और बिना किसी बहस के, बिना किसी डिबेट के सारे इम्पोर्टेंट बिल्स पारित हो जाए। जैसे आपने देखा होगा कि फॉरेस्ट कंजर्वेशन बिल पारित हो गया, ऐसे करके एक एक करके हर स्टेट के इंटरेस्ट के बिल सब वो पारित करा ले रहे हैं। और पिछली बार मणिपुर मुद्दे को लेकर उन्होंने हाउस नहीं चलने दिया। क्या मांग है विपक्ष की? विपक्ष की मांग सिर्फ इतनी है कि आप आके उस विषय पे बोले। अगर पहले ही दिन इस पर बात कर ली जाए तो किसी भी तरह का हंगामा नहीं होगा, हाउस स्मूथली चल सकता है। इस बार भी हाउस 4 तारीख से बहुत स्मूथली चल रहा था। सभी लोगों ने बिल पर अपना डिबेट किया, सभी लोगों ने 0 आवर किया, सब कुछ किया। तो फिर
the house was functioning smoothly,
इतनी मांग थी कि वो आके 2 मिनट इस पर बात करें।
And of course then the agenda shifted, and you could have made an effort to run the house. Was effort made by the government to run the house?
So, Mario, first things first, everybody is busy quoting Sushma ji and Arun Jaitley ji, and we must know the context in which those protests happened and how they all many times also went to the president also. And that was on account of huge corruption scams, not once but many times, whether it was Colgate or 2G. And that's when the furor was happening at that point of time. Here it is about corruption party, corruption of the corruption party.
And who is involved in
here we are
Adani
talking
corruption?
about, first it was Manipur. It has always been, look at Pegasus, Rafale.
And what
look
was
at this
there
entire
in
issue of
Pegasus?
Manipur,
What was there
and
in
now
Rafale? There was no
security
corruption
breach.
in that.
Not once has Amit Shah ji, our Honorable Home Minister, said he will not come back on this with a detailed report, with a proper answer in place. But that has not been said. Not just that, there were ministers today and members of the parliament today of the treasury benches actually attempting to ensure the flow and running of the house. Not just that, Jagdish Shankar ji insisted and requested Mallikarjun Kharge ji to meet him in the chambers, which was refused to him. But these are the rules, 373 and 374, that the speaker feels that despite repeated warnings and insistence on the house being run in a certain manner, certain members have chosen to disrupt, stick to one agenda, knowing very well that it's not immediately tenable or possible. Just to create this and work alongside
if the chairman, Nasir Hussain, if the chairman made an effort, if the speaker made an effort to ensure that the opposition and treasury benches come on the same table to talk it out and so that the house functions, why isn't the opposition cooperating?
Maria, I would like to suggest Shazia Ilmi to sit in front of Sunset TV from morning to evening when there is business in the house, and let her understand when Mr. Piyush Goyal, the leader of the house, gets 10 chances to speak whenever he requests, the LOP gets 1 chance. It is 1:10. When we all are when we are all shouting, when we are all asking, demanding that the LOP should be given time to speak in the parliament, to speak on behalf of the combined opposition, when he is being ignored, when he is being humiliated, when his mic is being put off, when he is not being heard. So then how will he go? How will you go and meet someone? Then how will you go and have a meeting?
Are you saying that the mics, are you reiterating and repeating what Rahul Gandhi said and lied about the mics being switched off deliberately?
LOB gets the chance to speak, and then you want to have backroom negotiations.
So are you saying exactly what Rahul Gandhi had said, that mics, every time he tries to speak, the mics are switched off, to which at that point of time, the presiding speaker and chairman had commented and said, even Harivansh ji,
let me bring in Ashutosh now. Ashutosh, it's just 4 days for this session to end, and I'm repeating it again and again because over the last 1 year in all, there has been very little functioning of the House. Would you also say that the opposition, which was looking for an issue, particularly after the drubbing which the Congress party faced in these elections, got an issue in this, breach of Parliament, which almost acted like a glue in which all the opposition parties came together, and then it was bound to, play out this way because this is an election season. And Parliament not functioning is something that we have seen historically just about in all the, when the elections approach, the last few sessions is about complete breakdown between the Treasury benches and opposition.
See, Maria, first of all, I'm thankful to my fellow panelists for reminding us that BJP has moved on from the Atal Advani era. When the parliamentary conventions were respected, and the soul of the parliament was also respected. And that's why Arun Jaitley will always be remembered as one of the great parliamentarians this country has. And it's not once that Arun Jaitley has said that. I'm really thankful for that. The fact of the matter is that today it's a Modi era. It's a BJP is led by Modi era. And how dare you ask a question? I was aghast to hear the BJP spokesperson. How can you insist that the Prime Minister should come and speak in the Parliament? How can you insist that the Home Minister should come in the Parliament and speak? And this is the parliamentary democracy where the accountability of the government has to be restored. The fact of the matter is the Prime Minister will not come to the Parliament and answer the questions of the parliamentarian. Then where will he answer the questions? Then what is the use of Parliament? What is the purpose of the parliamentary democracy? The Prime Minister should be there every day and should be answering questions. And the Home Minister should be there and answering questions. But the Prime Minister and the Home Minister, both of them, are happy giving answers outside the Parliament than inside the Parliament. I have never heard something like this. This had never been the parliamentary convention ever. Whenever the Parliament was running, whether it is the Narasimha Rao government or the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government or the Manmohan Singh government, they make sure that they will not, they shouldn't make any statement outside the Parliament. And that was the respect for the parliamentary democracy. If we are living in a Modi era, it's fine. I think the new rules are being set. And don't forget, the Parliament is not run most of the time by the rules, but by the convention.
That is not true and complete distortion.
Sazi, I did not disturb you. Sazi, I did not disturb you. Please listen to it. Listen to me peacefully. I don't want to disturb anybody, so listen to me peacefully. The fact is there are the parliamentary conventions, and that convention has to be respected. If there is a total breakdown between the opposition and the government, fine. But tell me, when last time there was a meeting between the Prime Minister and the leader of opposition to smooth functioning of the government? I know for a fact that on a daily basis, the leader of the House, Pranab Mukherjee, and the Arun Jaitley used to meet. They used to talk on phone that how to run the House next day. Today, that is total breakdown.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. If the agenda is to ensure...
Okay, Shazia, now.
Did I disturb you,
exactly
Shazia?
my point.
Okay, Ashutosh, Shazia. Yes.
Did I disturb you, Shazia?
Yes, please.
To run the
Did I
agenda.
disturb you, Shazia?
To run
This
the
is
agenda.
bad
So
manner.
even when Amit Shah ji is
Arya,
finally answering
bad manner.
and speaking on Manipur,
Bad
the opposition benches decide to walk out. So when the discussion actually took place, whether it was on referral of Pegasus, you decide to walk out. It is used as an agenda, and you want to work. You want the Prime Minister or the Home Minister to work to follow the agenda. Otherwise, we will disrupt. We will misbehave. We will call names. We will raise slogans. We will jump into the well. We will dance on the tables.
You are telling to the whole world that
we will harass the security. How many ugly scenes have we seen of that?
Okay, I have just enough time for Mahua Maji now. Mahua Maji,
And Amit Shah
Yes,
did
you know,
answer.
there are a number of
Prime
MPs
Minister
who
did
are
answer.
of the opinion, that the House should function because they want to raise concerns regarding their constituencies. I've been speaking to several BJD MPs and you know MPs which are unattached to either the NDA or the India parties. They are of the opinion कि हम उनको मौका मिलना चाहिए सवाल पूछने का, और वो सवाल पूछने का उनको नहीं मौका मिल रहा है क्योंकि एक तरफ ऑपोजिशन है जो इतने आप लोग इतनी सारी पार्टीज के साथ आए हैं और दूसरी तरफ सरकार है. आप लोग की बहस में उनके सवाल नहीं उठ रहे हैं.
देखिए, सबसे बड़ी बात है कि इस बार 4 तारीख से लेके लगातार सवाल पूछे गए और कहीं भी डिस्टरबेंस नहीं था. सभी ऑपोजिशन पार्टी के तमाम लोगों ने बिल पे बहस की, तमाम लोगों ने 0 आवर, क्वेश्चन आवर, स्पेशल मेंशन हर प्रोसेस में भाग लिया. लेकिन जब ये 13 तारीख को इतनी बड़ी घटना हुई, 140 करोड़ जनता का सवाल था कि आप उस देश की सुरक्षा कैसे करेंगे अगर पार्लियामेंट की सुरक्षा नहीं कर सकते हैं, जो कि सबसे प्रोटेक्टेड एरिया है इस देश का. तो बस इतना सवाल पूछा गया ऑपोजिशन की तरफ से और इसके लिए सबसे पहले तो वॉकआउट किया गया था शांतिपूर्ण तरीके से, उस पर जवाब नहीं आया और लगातार 5 दिन बीत गए और बाहर मीडिया में जवाब दिए जा रहे हैं, लेकिन सदन के अंदर जहां पर जवाब देना चाहिए वहां नहीं दिया गया. तब जाके ऑपोजिशन ने इस तरह से जो भी किया. लेकिन इसमें अगर सवाल नहीं पूछे जा रहे हैं तो सत्ता पक्ष की भी ये जिम्मेदारी है कि हाउस आराम से चले, इसके लिए विपक्ष की मांग को पूरी कर दी जाए. पिछले सेशन में भी मणिपुर मुद्दे पर जब बहस हो रही थी तो अगर शुरू में ही आके मणिपुर मुद्दे पे बात हो जाती तो वो सेशन भी अबाधित चलता, उसमें भी सवाल पूछे जाते. सवाल तो हर एक कोई पूछना चाहता है. जितने महत्वपूर्ण बिल है वो पारित हो जा रहे हैं बिना किसी डिस्कशन के.
Nasir Hussain, Dr. Mahbooba Ji, Shazia Ilmi, Smita Prakash and Ashutosh, thank you so much for joining us. A quick word from Dr. Saugata Roy, Professor Saugata Roy as well. What next for opposition MPs, those who have been suspended?
Nothing. We will demonstrate tomorrow. We will sit on the steps of Parliament and demonstrate. Protest will continue. The people of the country are seeing what is happening. The people who have not yet been suspended will again raise the matter in Parliament, and only 3-4 more days of Parliament are left. We shall see what the government does. But there has been no effort by the government to reach out to the opposition. Their attitude is bellicose. Their attitude, as I told you, is arrogant, full of pride. So this is what they're happening and what they're doing.
All right, Professor Saugata Roy, suspended TMC MP. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.